On today's episode, we ask, is Batman Year One a good movie? Welcome to the first episode of But Is It a Good Movie? Where we go through my movie collection one by one every week to find out if that week's choice is a good movie and should be kept in the collection, or if it's a bad one and we should throw that bad boy out. I'm your host Ish, and with me is my co-host Nick.
That's me.
Alright, Nick, so you've never seen Batman Year One before, right?
No, I have not.
Alright, so give me like your first general idea of like what you thought of the movie.
It was good. I liked it. Definitely didn't. I guess I expected more Batman. That's like my big takeaway with a name Batman Year One. Right. I was like, where's Batman?
Yeah, he's not really a main focus of this film, I would say.
You know, it's more about like setting up like Gordon and like his relationship with Batman. I guess even a little bit setting up like Catwoman too.
Yeah,
but
kind of like the idea of Batman, I guess.
Yeah,
and his, like allies throughout it. You're not really that much of like a comic book guy, would you say?
No, not really. Like I know like the basics.
Okay.
So, you know, like every time I've ever seen Batman, it's always been like he's established in Gotham already. So I thought it was gonna be kind of interesting to see him like his beginnings, but it almost didn't feel like we got that from this.
Yeah,
it was more about like Bruce Wayne returns and he's immediately like Batman. Like he already knows what he wants to do. And I don't know, there wasn't like a lot of stuff. Like I understand this is just like an hour long little like it feels like a featurette in a series.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, if many of you don't know, Batman Year One is an adaptation of the comic book from 1987, also named Batman Year One. It was a story by Frank Miller, very well known in the comic book world for writing a lot of Batman stories and other comics. I've read Batman Year One before, and I was trying to reread it this time, but this movie did a really good job adapting the story, where I was looking through the panels and I was like, oh yeah, that's in the movie and that's in the movie. Almost a little too well. Like, I wish they took their liberties a little bit more, because it was just like if they were reading the comic and then they were just drawing what they saw and animating that instead.
Okay.
We didn't see a lot of Batman in this movie. The little that we did see, did you like that compared to your other experiences of Batman?
So like not really used to the animated Batman, but what I have seen, I have preferred other things, mainly just because it was just, I don't know, like Batman, I don't know, he was like so strong in this movie.
He was very
out of
strong.
nowhere. He was kicking trees down. He was just like fucking dudes up left and right. And then he was also getting like hit too, which I kind of like to see a little bit because he's not like Superman.
Yeah, Batman took a lot of damage in this movie.
You know, he got shot in the leg and it almost felt like it was like cut 2 months later. He's like walking again and he's running and jumping. So like, of course, suspend your belief. But yeah, I definitely feel like the other Batman I've seen that's animated was more fun to watch, because this was more about like just like setting up Gotham in a way that involves Batman.
Yeah. All right. So the movie, right? Like, let's get into the movie a little bit more.
Okay.
So the movie starts off with seeing both Bruce returning to Gotham after like a 15-year hiatus.
And he looks like Superman.
He does. He looks a little like Superman.
He has like the curl in the front.
And we also see Gordon's experience coming into Gotham for the first time. So he's recently been transferred into Gotham PD, and he's kind of like hating it. He's like, fuck, man, I don't want to go into Gotham. This is such a shitty town. And it shows just like there's a fight breaking out in Gotham.
Like immediately, the like cop corruption, crime immediately. And it's just bad. It's like really, well, like Gotham's never like a fun place in any of like the Batman movies or anything like that. Like you never think, oh, Gotham's a cool place, I want to go there,
right? Yeah, immediately when he gets off the train, there's a guy who's trying to sell him a book. He's like, book, pretty pictures. And he's like, no, I don't want that book. And he's like, no, look at the pictures. And this other guy gets introduced, Detective Flass. and he just picks up this guy and chucks him to the side.
I know that was definitely something I was like, people in this movie are able to pick each other up so easily, and it's funny. It's almost like the stereotype of like the bully picking the nerd up. Like that's what I felt every time. Like Batman does it, when this detective does it, even Gordon does it at one point, I think.
Oh, he'd like pick someone up.
I believe so, or at least feels like he could.
When Flash gets first introduced, it's already kind of like showing us, the audience, that's like, yeah, cops are kind of like assholes in this city. And then immediately in the background, you hear the news, right? And it's talking about Commissioner Loeb. Like, there's conspiracies against him, and they're being dropped because the key witness has disappeared. So you're like, okay, something's going on here with this guy. When you first see Commissioner Loeb, since you're not very experienced with the character, what were your first thoughts?
Immediately, I was like, "That's the Penguin."
I was like, "It's not the Penguin, right?"
I guess it's not.
He's just like this guy with the clown painting in his office.
So then I was like, "Is this the first look at like the Joker?" And I was like, "The Joker was always like this skinnier guy." So I was like, "This is weird," but then like it almost feels like this didn't go anywhere. I'm not sure if this Loeb person comes back.
It like towards the end of the movie, right? He gets caught up in all the scandals and everything, and he takes a lot of people down with him. But I think in the comics he makes a couple appearances here and there again, but he's always like popping these like candies in his mouth throughout the whole movie.
I did notice that.
And I think in the comic it's mints.
Did anyone light a cigarette in this movie? Maybe that's what they're trying to dodge. They're trying to dodge like tobacco use.
I don't know, because I know Gordon smokes.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that was like that they're just trying to dodge like on scene smoking. Like I can't remember anyone smoking.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't remember anyone smoking in this movie. Huh. I just finished watching this movie too. And if they did smoke, I guess I didn't pick it up at all. Maybe because it's Gotham and it's like they're all kind of scummy anyways.
Yeah, add smoking to the list of the shit they do.
Right. So later on in the movie, there is a scene where Flash and Gordon are driving down the road. Out of nowhere, Flash pulls over, goes up to some like guys on a corner. And they're like hovering over like this trash fire. He just picks up this kid and starts beating the shit out of him for no reason.
Yeah, it's like he said like the dude's name, like as if they have history, and
Stevie.
And the dude's like, "Oh fuck, here he is!" Like he knows he's gonna get his ass kicked now.
Yeah, and I don't know why they don't bring that up again.
No, I think it was just to show like how shitty he is, because like not only did he just start a fight randomly, he is a white cop and he just fought like one of the only black characters in the movie. Mm-hmm. So like it's just like kind of like I think it's double. It's like cop and he's racist, I think. So
Gordon doesn't do anything. He's just watching everything go down. Yeah. And he says, "I don't want to do anything yet," because that's how shit happened in his like previous job, right? He's gonna observe and like take notes of this guy. Flash goes back into the car. He's like, "Oh, he had this on him." Gordon opens it up and it's just like a comb.
Yeah, no, it like looks like a switchblade, and he opens it and goes, "It's a comb." It's like, oh.
Well, you can never be too sure, right?
Yeah, so definitely just painting this guy as like the shittiest person you could find.
The way this movie works is like time travels pretty fast.
Yeah, it's like what they return in January, right?
Yes.
And then like before you know it, it's like already like the end of the summer, because like it's mainly like the beginning of the year and the end of the year is like where like the majority of like I'd say like the biggest parts happen, and there's like just sprinkles of other things around. I guess that is like the downtime for Batman, because he does get fucked up. So yeah,
and if you don't pay attention to it, I think you miss some things and you'll think this scene's happening right after the other one.
Yeah,
because up in the corner it'll just say like, oh, it's like November, or now it's December or something. Shortly after that scene, Gordon and Flash are in a car and they're chasing down some bad guys, I suppose. And he's just telling Gordon, is like, some of the boys are a little concerned about you. Like,
oh yeah, you're not one of us. But like, yeah, like if you didn't pay attention to the time jump, it looks like as if like he just got out of the car, beat that dude up, got back in the car, and now they're on a police chase immediately. So yeah, definitely, I feel like the time jump is funny, because like obviously everyone's wearing the same clothes, that they wear from one, I'm assuming, one panel to another almost.
Yeah. I do like how Flash keeps referring to all the other people as the boys.
The boys, yeah.
It's like, come on, gotta get along with the boys.
Yeah, because like you don't get to like meet too many of the cops. So like I feel like that's why there's such a big like emphasis on him, because he feels like the leader or like the big honcho of like the rest of the boys in blue.
Yeah, and everything kind of escalates more and more with this Flash guy, because in that same scene, he ends up ramming that car that they're chasing. The car flips over.
Oh yeah.
And Gordon's just shocked. He's like, "What the fuck's going on?"
I know.
And he gives out kind of like a threat, right? He's like, "Oh, be careful, Gordon. You have a baby on the way."
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit, okay, something's gonna go down later on, probably.
Yeah, I'd say Gordon's internal monologues to himself, they're very short, but like the little snippets you do here are like kind of like, it's just like he predicts the future so much, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's just like, oh, I really hope she's not pregnant, you know? But like he's basically like, but like that is my luck.
Yeah, because his wife, Barbara, gets introduced in the movie. And later on in the movie, she makes more and more appearances. She just looks super disheveled by the end of the movie.
I know, she's probably just like, my husband works like all these hours as a cop, and I don't think Barbara, like, it doesn't say she has a job, so like she's just at home. She's probably like, I hate my life, you know, I have a baby on the way, like, do I have to take care of this by myself if anything happens to my husband and shit like that? So I kind of feel bad for her of amongst everybody, because like she's just like, God, she looks gigantic with the baby, and like she looks like they definitely did a good job of like, damn, she's like down bad.
Soon after we introduce Barbara and everything, we check back in with Bruce, right? Batman, finally. He's just out in his yard training. So he like breaks a couple of bricks, and then he turns to a tree and he kicks it in half.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which is insane.
I know, yeah. I wrote like, is Batman always this strong? Because I remember him being strong, but he's also more like, he has gadgets.
Yeah,
I always thought like the gadgets were like 50% of the Batman.
No, and I read a little bit of the comic book, and I wanted to know if that scene's in there, if he actually kicks down a tree. And I was like, yep, it's in there. But it's even less time in that comic. It's like one panel of him kicking down the tree. It's like, okay, this is our expectations. Batman's really strong for some reason. Like, no enhancements or anything. He just honed his skills wherever he was for 15 years, and now he could kick down trees.
Yeah, I do like when he breaks the bricks, he does have like a thought to himself. He goes, I'm not ready. And I was like, how are you not ready? Like, you could shatter like rib cages, and you could like apparently break spines in half if you could take down a whole tree.
Yeah, he's like, I have the means and the skills.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go out yet.
Yeah, and then I like how he like kind of like after that he's like, all right, I'm gonna go fight some crime now. So he goes basically like the worst part of Gotham. It's like you just see like porn and like prostitutes and stuff like that, and he just like
East End of Gotham.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm just gonna walk up to this pimp. I'm just gonna fight him. Yeah, you know, like because like, I guess why not?
Which is so bizarre, because earlier when he was in the car prepping himself to go out into the streets, which is so funny to me because he has a beanie on and a coat, and he adds like this scar to his face. And I like how a beanie and a fake scar are the equivalent to like Superman when he has glasses on.
Oh yeah.
No one can recognize that's Bruce Wayne, even though he's like the most famous person in Gotham because he just came back. He's all over the news.
Yeah, no, yeah. As soon as this guy lands, it's like he has like news reporters. And like they're like, oh my God, Gotham's like star child, Bruce Wayne. And it's like, all right, you literally need a better disguise. Like the fact that no one recognizes him, I guess like that it is funny.
Yeah, well that pimp's like, oh, what a nice disguise. What are you, Vice or a cop? He's like, I'm not Vice. And then Selena's in the window. He's like, was that Vice? It's like, okay, so like your disguise isn't fooling anyone. Like they don't know it's you, Bruce Wayne.
But they just know that like is not exactly how this person looks. Or
like you don't belong there.
Yeah.
And while he's in the car, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna like observe and like gather information. I'm not gonna fight anyone. Immediately he picks a fight.
Oh yeah.
I guess the reason he starts to fight is because he beats this girl.
Yeah.
Undetermined age. It's whatever age we want it to be.
She's definitely under 18.
Yeah. So he beats the shit out of the pimp. And it's like, sick. But then that girl stabs him in the leg.
Yeah, so like here he was like, you think like, oh, he's like protecting this girl, and this girl's like, fuck you, and like stabbed him in like the thigh. And then everyone else is like, get him. Like as if like he's the bad guy.
I was like, fuck this guy, right? Doesn't have enough dirt on him.
Yeah.
So he beats everyone else, throws that girl on the ground. She scrapes her knee and she has like a single tear flowing down.
Oh my God.
And that's it, right? Done deal. Selena jumps down. She's like, you fuck with my girls, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Which I did not know that was Catwoman until like later on.
Yeah, because you said you didn't know Catwoman's name was Selena.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that either. So like I was like, who is this person? You know, like here it's like they definitely don't look like a background character. So I was just like, okay, so this is obviously someone that they're setting up. It didn't even dawn on me that could be Catwoman until like she finally like starts doing more stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a little bit. So, your experience of Catwoman, right? Like, what's your initial experience, like, without ever seeing this movie beforehand?
Not a lot. She's not like with Batman, but like she kind of like goes against some of his like beliefs a little bit, I guess. Like she is committing crime, but she's like almost like the anti-hero in Batman, I guess. Like that's like the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't know too much about Catwoman.
You know, she's like a cat burglar.
Yeah, she's like a jewel thief.
Yeah. So this movie introduces like a little bit more information, right? She's like some dominatrix, like prostitute in this story.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is a cool. Like, if you didn't know a lot about Catwoman,
is she always set up this way?
I think before this she wasn't. I think she was more like a white collar thief.
Okay.
And then Frank Miller kind of redid Catwoman's origin story a little bit.
Okay.
And made it to where now she started off this way on the streets, which makes a little bit more sense. I feel she is more like with the streets, and she relates to the common people a little bit more.
Yeah. Like kind of like the Robin Hood of Gotham. Like, yeah. Like she steals from like rich people.
Yeah. But she keeps all the jewels.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, like, yeah, she gives like the jewels to like that one girl at the end, but like, yeah, it seems like it's mainly like for self gain.
Yeah. So after Selena jumps down, her and Bruce have this like pretty cool fight, I think.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't bad. I did not expect her to just like come out and just start kicking ass immediately. Yeah. I guess like, you know, Bruce did get stabbed in the leg, so like, you know, he is already down in this fight, but.
Yeah, but you have like 15 years of training, enough to kick down a tree immediately when you get back.
So like his leg alone should be killing everybody. Yeah,
but Selena jumps down and she could take him on like one-on-one pretty easily.
So like the 15 years of training like didn't really mean shit in comparison to fighting just this one person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 15 years versus like your whole life on the streets, right?
Yeah, but like wherever he went, it could have been like one-on-one training. Like there's not a lot like. I don't know, but like Selena is like defined, like her muscles are like fucking jacked. Yeah. So
the only reason this fight stops is cops show up.
Yeah.
And they break up the fight. Bruce Wayne's like, whatever, right? He puts up his hand.
And gets shot.
He gets shot immediately.
Immediately.
Which is such an interesting thing that the movie does. And the comic, right? So this shows how corrupt cops are, right? Not even white men are safe. White men get shot on sight, same as like that black kid on the alley.
Yeah, it's. I know. I was like, okay, so maybe he gets like arrested, and then he's gonna get away somehow. No, they shoot him on sight, and then they put him in handcuffs and they put him in the back seat. And the only thing the cop could say is, "I hope he doesn't bleed all over my seats," or like, "Oh, he's bleeding on my car." It's like Jesus Christ.
And there's like a throwaway line in there too, where I guess they like check his pockets and they steal a couple of bucks off of him.
Oh my god.
With like no ID, so they can't identify him. At least he's smart enough not to carry that, right? Bruce wakes up and he's like, stop the car. Cops are like, whatever, he's on drugs. So he like puts his hands underneath him and then chokes out the cop in front of him.
Yeah, which I didn't like. I always heard about that move where you like get your like handcuffs like from your behind to your front. Like didn't know that was actually like real though.
Yeah. Well, he does it and starts choking out the cop. Yeah. Other cop takes out a gun and he's gonna like, I guess, try to shoot Bruce. But they start fighting. The cop shoots up in the top of the car. Ends up in a crash. Car flips over and it's like on fire.
Like immediately.
Yeah. So Bruce escapes. I'm assuming still handcuffed. I wasn't paying that much attention.
I think he gets out of the handcuffs because like this is when we see like Batman's moral system.
Yeah.
He's like, they may be scum, but scum even have family.
Yeah, right.
So like and then he reaches in and he grabs the cops, but when he's laying them down, he's like putting one down with his left hand and he has the other one over his right shoulder holding him.
Okay.
So like he must have gotten out of the handcuffs somehow.
Probably when the car was rolling, he was just like, I'm just gonna do these handcuffs real fast.
He probably could just broke them with how much like strength he has.
Maybe. Yeah, and as soon as he saves the cops, puts them down, car immediately explodes.
Oh yeah.
So they just happen to save him just in time. And he gets back to his car, and then he's like going back home, assumingly, right? But on the way back to his house, he passes Jim.
Yeah.
And James Gordon is all beat up. Oh yeah, we skipped over this a little bit. While that's happening, Gordon's on his way to his shift, and then a bunch of masked assailants start beating the shit out of him in the garage. I don't know if you're not supposed to know who it is or if you are, because it's kind of obvious.
I think they let you know who it is, because even like, so it's the guys from the police station, including what's his name, Flask. Because like he even just goes like oh, like watch yourself, Jim or Gordon. Like he says his name, Jimmy, and he's been he's been using that pet name on Gordon since he got there, basically. So like he's even letting Gordon know, like, all right, I'm the person you don't fuck with, and he even like throws in the bat and stuff like that, and they like beat him up in the parking garage, and then he still gets up and he goes to work.
Yeah, well, like that fight scene is actually I really enjoy that one, because Gordon's able to kind of like stand up and like keep fighting everyone.
Oh yeah,
everyone's like, and he's like stops a lot of like blows. He gets a bat and starts hitting other people, and then someone just like sucker punches him, and that like causes him to like go on the ground. And they beat the shit out of him, but he somehow manages to stay conscious, and then he starts driving, right? And I think it's the same day. I don't know if he went to a shift or if he must have immediately started doing something, because he calls the station, I'm assuming, and he's asking where Flass is. Yeah. And it's like, oh, Flass isn't working. Every Wednesday night they have poker night, like out of the suburbs. So that's where Gordon's on his way. He's on his way to like confront him.
Now, is it immediate or is it like some time passes?
I don't know,
because I feel like it's one of those time passes, because I feel like when Gordon's stalking him, he doesn't have like his like black eye anymore.
He does. It's swollen.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I just totally erased that from my mind.
He's still beat up, and that's like that. So Bruce and like Gordon pass each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Gordon rolls up to the house and he sees Flass leaving, and Flass is wearing his like high school Letterman jacket,
which like you're just like, oh, he's one of those guys. He like peaked in high school. Yeah. He was probably like the star football like by the quarterback and shit like that.
It just shows how much of a douchebag this guy is, right? He still has his like high school Letterman jacket. He's like 40 or late 30s.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's older. Like like there's no way he's like in his like early 20s and he's already a detective.
No, because it shows that like out of high school he joined the Green Berets. Or he joined, like, the army. He became a Green Beret. So times passed. And I think the reason they gave him the Letterman jacket is just to show that he's always had privilege. He's always been, like, that jock who's, like, gotten away with stuff, maybe. And that's why he's, like, such an asshole. Because, like, he's never gotten in trouble. He's always gotten away with everything.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. And then, so he gets in his car. And then Gordon starts following him. And he pulls up next to the car, sideswipes Flass, and causes Flass to crash into a tree. Yeah. And then, so that's where the confrontation starts, right? Flass takes out his gun. Gordon already has a gun drawn on him. And he's like, all right. Like, hey, Jimmy.
Yeah, like, let's not take this any further.
Yeah, but then Gordon, being the badass he is, has a baseball bat, throws it at Flass, and he's like, he should have a handicap.
Yeah, so, like, when that happened, I was like, so, because he empties the gun, or he throws his gun away, too. And he throws in the bat, and then when he thinks of that, I was like, all right, so, like, are we going to see, like, the full power of Gordon? Yeah. Which, like, he does make a comment when he's beating out, when Flass pulls over and he just fights that kid for no reason. Yeah. He does point out that he's just like, I have to study him in case I ever get into a fight with him or something like that. He has, like, moves. So, like, from that point on, and, like, however amount of time has passed since then, he definitely, like, has, like, been sizing this guy up for this one fight.
Yeah. He says something along the lines of, it's been years since I've had a fight at Green Beret.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
So, I don't know if he's also been in the military before. Maybe also the Green Berets, or something along those lines where I guess he's had to fight Green Berets in the past multiple times. But he ends up kicking Flass's ass, ties him up in the snow, or handcuffs him, right?
Naked,
yeah.
In the snow, which is like, okay. Like, I guess he wanted to humiliate him at the same time.
I guess symbolically, right? He strips him of his Letterman jacket, maybe stripping him of his, like, his privilege or his, like, cover. I don't know if you've noticed, but after that scene where he strips Flass, leaves him in the snow, and he's like, oh, Flash is too proud. He'll never report this.
Mm-hmm.
Flash is kind of a joke for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like, yeah, because, like, this is definitely the guy that's always been, like, he's beating everyone else up. So finally he has to stroll in, beaten up himself. So, like, I think he definitely, like, how you say, like, he gets stripped of his privilege. He definitely now loses power.
Yeah.
You know, like, whatever this, like, food chain was, he definitely, like, gets knocked down a couple pegs.
Yeah, because the next time we see him, he's, like, has his arm in a cast.
No, that's after Batman gets established.
Yeah.
So if we backtrack, after they pass each other in the cars, Bruce Wayne goes back home to his mansion, and he's just, like, drinking himself silly. He's like, I could never do it. You know, well, like, I don't think what am I missing?
I don't think he's drinking. I think he's just blood loss.
Oh, so he's, yeah. Like, delusional. Oh yeah. No, he's just bleeding everywhere next to the bell, and he's like, Father, I could ring the bell, and your next gift would come to me in the form Alfred's the gift or whatever. And I was like, this is such a weird scene. Like, he's, like, almost, like, kind of pitying himself a little bit, but also, like, trying to figure out, like, what does he have to change. And then we get the funniest scene, I think, in the entire movie is a bat comes through the window, which it's just a bat, a singular little bat, crashes through this, like, mansion window. And I'm like, how fast was that bat going? Because, like, it was, like, going through, like, a fucking, like, fastball. And then it doesn't die. It just, like, and it goes up on, like, the statue of his dad or whatever, and just kind of looks at him. And then I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get, like, him making the suit and stuff. And no. It just immediately hard cut to, like, he's now Batman. He has gadgets now. Well, some gadgets, and, like, the suit.
I get it, right? It's supposed to be, like, this, like, very beautiful but kind of improbable scene, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You said, like, this bat, nothing happens to the bat, and it's not just glass he crashes through. It's like the actual window frame is busted open. So he, like, Kool-Aid Man's it through this man's window.
And then he just stares at him and, like, squawks or screeches.
He screeches at him.
And then Batman's like, that's it.
Dude, I don't know if you noticed, but when the bat crashes through, glass is flying everywhere. The glass is, like, moving, and you see the bat's reflection, and then the glass, like, turns, and you see Bruce Wayne's reflection. So it's supposed to be, like, Bruce and the bat are the same now.
Okay. So
he's like, that's it. I am Batman.
I guess.
I know, it's like a stretch, but we've seen other things.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, okay, we gotta take this, like, with a grain of salt.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And he's like, okay. And he reaches over and he picks up the bell. So he's like, okay, now that I know my purpose, I guess I'm not gonna die.
Yeah, because he was thinking about just letting himself die right there, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because, like, I don't know, I felt like Batman was kind of like, you know, not that he was, like, too full of himself to let that happen, but, like, I guess, like, yeah, he was searching for his purpose. I feel like that's the reason why Batman just keeps going after getting, like, kicked down and all this shit.
Yeah, because throughout the movie, he knows what he wants to do.
He just doesn't know how to do it. Yeah.
So he, like, trained, he has these skills, but there's still no, I guess, real meaning behind everything.
Yeah. I think it's also, like, he's missing a little bit of, like, the means to do it mainly. Because, like, I think he knows what he wants. He wants to fight crime, obviously, make Gotham a better place.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think it's almost one of those things, like, he feels bad that he left it for so long. So that's why he kind of returns.
Yeah.
But, honestly, good for him, because I would not have gone back. I would have been like, I was already gone for 15 years. That place has nothing on me now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I don't know. It's his home, right?
Yeah, so, like, it's definitely, like, a different circumstance. He has a mansion, so.
Yeah, so after that whole situation with Bruce Wayne, we go back to Gordon.
Yes.
And he's driving down the road, and over the radio he hears that there's this hostage situation.
Yeah.
Some guy from Arkham Asylum escaped, and he has, like, 4 kids with him. The radio dispatcher says that Brandon is on the way, which is the head of the SWAT department.
Yeah, which, like, we see a little bit before. He's kind of, like, he's with, like, Flask and Loeb.
Yeah.
He's kind of, like, the third wheel of that situation. Easily, like, he's just kind of, like, he could just get told to go take care of that, and he just goes and does it. Like, he's like, pull the trigger, think about it later kind of thing.
Gordon has this inner thought to himself while he hears that. He's like, fuck, Brandon's gonna be there? That guy is super violent and reckless. I need to stop him, or, like, innocent people are gonna die. But while he's thinking this, he goes onto this, like, the sidewalk, and almost hits a ton of people.
Yeah.
So he's being reckless and dangerous while he's thinking about, like, fuck, the other guy's even more reckless and dangerous.
Yeah, whatever I just did, he's 10 times worse.
Yeah, and he doesn't even, like, turn on his siren.
No. But yeah, he, like, beelines in the rain right for, because, like, the SWAT team just gets there and they're coming out, and, like, he, like, cuts them off. He just goes, stand down.
Yeah.
I'm going to take care of this.
Yeah, and he, like, puts his gun down.
You know, yeah, he shows the guy in the window. He's like, no gun.
Yeah, right? There's news reporters reporting all of this. And then we cut back to Barbara watching the news. And she's, like, super worried about him. Well, I think one of the funniest things that we've noticed, in case you didn't know that Barbara was pregnant, she's, like, eating ice cream. And
it has, like, this pink shirt on that says baby with, like, an arrow pointing at her stomach.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thanks. Thank you for that.
I totally forgot she was pregnant. I'm glad someone reminded me.
Yeah, because we have Gordon saying at the very beginning, I hope she's not pregnant. Mm-hmm. And then he's saying, oh, well, I have a kid on the way. Mm-hmm. And then Flask even bringing up, like, oh, you should be careful. You have a baby on the way. So if you miss those 3 points, the show is definitely going to be, here it is, baby on board right there, baby, question mark.
So it goes back to Gordon at the hostage situation. He's going up the stairs, and the guy opens the door. And he's screaming about no lunch.
And, like, yeah, like a schedule being broken or something.
He's like, angry lunch. And then Gordon's like, it's okay. We could get takeout. And he's like, no lunch. And Gordon just knocks him out with one punch.
Yeah, because, like, doesn't he see that there's, like, a group of kids before he does that? Or is it, like, after the fact?
No, well, because
he's holding
on. Girl
yeah, he's holding one. Gun. And he just, like, knocks him out. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't, like, my thought was, like, remove the gun from the situation, because how I thought the scene was gonna play out was he thought he knocked him out, and then that guy's gonna pick up the gun and, like, shoot at one of them.
Yeah,
but no, it's all hunky-dory. And then we get the best line in the entire movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll let you say the lie, but leading up to that, right, Gordon looks at the room. The girl runs to, like, the other kids. A very diverse group of kids.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like the perfect hostage situation, and they're all terrified, cowering in the corner. And Gordon goes up to him, and this is how he decides to, like, break the tension.
Yeah, so he kneels down and he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out some gum and he just looks at them. The first words after saying them is, "Who wants gum?"
Yeah,
and then it cuts.
And it just cuts from there, and I get it, right? It's like it looked like it was juicy fruit. One of the most delicious gums.
Yeah, the last, like, 5 seconds.
Right? So, like,
these kids, you don't know how long they've been as a hostage with a madman who they can't even figure out what the fuck he wants and stuff. He has a gun, and then, like, the cop's first thing is, instead of, like, let's get you kids out of here, you guys want gum?
Yeah, he's like, who wants gum? I don't know how long you guys been here, but your breath fucking reeks.
You guys smell so bad.
So after that, some time passes. Not a lot of substantial stuff. I mean, there's, like, scenes of him at the gun range and then, like, cutting back to the ultrasound.
Yeah, so, and then, like, while that's going on, don't we also get kind of, like, Batman jumping in the distance at one point?
Yeah, so that's, like, after the gun range and ultrasound where Gordon says he hates having a gun.
Yeah.
He does not want it at all. Back at the house, at the apartment, he's just, like, talking to himself, and in the distance we see a shadow, like, leaping over, like, rooftops, and that's April 6th. So it's been from January to April, which I don't know, that's like, what, like 5 months?
4 months.
4 months. So 3 days later, April 9th, is when we finally see Batman actually doing Batman stuff, and he's in his outfit and everything.
Yeah.
So for being a Batman movie, we don't see a lot of him actually turning into Batman. We don't see him building the suit.
No,
we don't see any.
Which, like, I thought, because, like, from, like, the little brief description I read, it was, like, basically like how, like, the first couple months where Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. So I was like, we're gonna get a montage, at least one, of him making everything.
No 80s montage, in this
which
movie.
I was very sad about, actually.
We don't see Bruce Wayne dancing to Footloose.
Oh, that'd been awesome.
But what we do see is 3 guys are robbing an apartment, and Batman sees this, and he's going to try to stop them. And they're stealing, like, a TV and, like, a VCR.
Oh, yeah, this scene. Oh, my God. This is such a weird scene.
Yeah.
Because he jumps down, as if like he's gonna do something about it, and like I don't know, it feels almost like he froze like trying to like fight these guys.
Yeah.
Because like immediately like one of them is falling and he's like trying to catch him, and then the other two is like, well, let's fucking like attack this guy even though he's like holding on to the other guy we were with, saving him from death. He's like, no, we're just gonna still kick the shit out of Batman even though this whole thing is going on. And it's just a weird thing because they're fighting on like a fire escape.
Yeah.
So it's like probably like on like a 3-foot long little enclosed space that they're all just like punching each other.
Yeah, and so Batman manages to knock them out while he's still holding on to this guy. Guy gets knocked out. Don't know how.
Probably like brings him up and like punches him.
Yeah. But after everything happens, the TV that they were stealing crashes on the ground, and Batman's just like wallowing in his like self-pity. He's like, amateur. I can't believe I've done this.
Yeah, and he's just like laying there, like kind of like sitting there, and like there's just like 3 knocked out dudes like laying on top of him basically, and I'm like, such a weird scene.
So after that, about a month passes. I think it's May 15 or something, and a new character gets introduced to the movie, Detective Essen.
Yes.
And
I just refer to her as Blonde Lady.
Yeah, because she might as well just be like that. So like Frank Miller's not good at writing women. And it really shows in this movie, because most of the women in this movie, only reason they're here is like for sexual reasons or to advance the plot of the movie
or to create like a new conflict.
Yeah,
because that's essentially like what this lady becomes. Like, would you say Detective Essence?
Detective Essen.
Yeah, so like she just like she's there just to serve the whole plot point of Gordon cheats on his wife.
Yeah,
and like I guess like in a way like show that like there's another good cop in the world, maybe, because like she's not like corrupt or anything.
No, she's not. Well, she like got transferred there.
Yeah,
they're at like a briefing or something. That's where she gets introduced, and there's pictures of what Batman might look like.
Yeah, so they have like a gargoyle as one of the pictures, and then they have like kind of like a vigilante, and then they have like a really good idea of what Batman looks like, and I was like, okay,
it's like, yeah, that's Batman. Option B, that's Batman.
But they're like A and C could be an option still. We don't know if he's a monster yet because he is kicking trees down.
And while this is happening, you see Flash in like the corner,
just beat up.
Yeah,
he had a broken arm. And he's like, the Batman did it, and I was like, shut up, Flash, you idiot.
He's like, he's not human, I swear. And he's just like such a sad boy,
and he's like you can tell he's like fucked up from this a little bit. He's like, oh my god, and they're like shut up, Flash, you're an idiot anyway, like no one likes you. And
he tells a story of what happened. So he's like down at the docks or something, and in his version he's like, I was single-handedly about to stop a drug bust,
and then all of a sudden that bat creature comes out of nowhere.
One of the assailants that I didn't unarm for some reason shoots at him, and it just goes right through him. Yeah,
and we just see that Batman crouches and his cape goes up, so it just suits the cape.
And so he says that Batman took everyone out but singled Flash out, and he was like, he singled me out, man. He's like, he's not human, I swear. And everyone's just like laughing, and really like from the beginning, right, to what he is now. In the beginning he was this very respected figure. It's
definitely like a 180.
Yeah,
how everyone else sees him. Like, I feel like he still kind of sees himself as like this bigger guy, but
now he's just like some really like sad looking boy in a corner. Yeah. He's just like,
is that the last we see of him in this movie?
No, we see him a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but after that there's a dinner party.
Oh yeah, with all like the rich people of Gotham, like Loeb's there, this like mafia dudes there.
Yeah.
That I didn't catch anyone's name, but they're all talking about like the Batman and how it's like, it's good that the city has a hero because now they're not gonna like worry about us.
Yeah.
And like the one mafia's guy is like, are you guys stupid? Like, he's gonna come after us.
So the only ones that I know is Commissioner Loeb, which is like the main guy, and Carmine Falcone.
Okay.
Which is the mob guy.
Okay.
And during this, they're all just drinking and eating and just talking about Batman and how he's a menace and they're gonna stop him. But I like the segue of Batman's outside of the window, hunched over. He's just like kind of messing around with like his tools.
Yeah.
Which you don't see normally.
I know. Usually he has that shit ready, or like
Yeah.
it's like already like like he's already planted traps or already
Yeah.
planted whatever he had to.
Yeah. Usually when Batman shows up, he just busts through and like shit happens. But this is like he's like setting up his like I'm assuming a bomb.
Yeah, it's definitely a bomb because like that's what goes off at the party. So
Yeah. So he throws a smoke bomb through the window, cuts the lights, and there's this lady who her audio is like the crispest because she's like, "Who turned off the lights?"
yeah, and it's just like I don't know. Like they definitely filmed that separate from everyone else.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
everyone
for sure.
shared the same microphone, but her. She's like, "No, I got this headset at home."
So he explodes the bomb and then goes into like the house, and everyone's just like freaking out about him.
And he kind of like delivers like this like little thing about like you think you're safe, but like a new day is coming.
Yeah, and he's like kind of being a little hypocritical, right? Because he says something along the lines of, "You've eaten Gotham's wealth," and Bruce Wayne is rich.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I guess his money is like better than like the bad guy's money because they made their money bad.
Yeah, I guess so. Like the reason why they're rich is because they're evil.
Yeah, and he just like covers up their like fondue or like flambe or whatever it is.
And it's not the end. Like he doesn't do anything else to them, right?
No, he just like threatens them and he's
Yeah.
like, "You're not safe," and he like covers it up, and then like the scene ends. After that, Commissioner Loeb is like yelling at Gordon that he wants Batman. He's like, "Bring me like Batman," kind of like Jane, like from Spider-Man. They're like,
Oh yeah,
pictures of Spider-Man.
I want Spider-Man.
So you see, like, the failed attempt to lure Batman out is Detective Essen.
Being chased like fake chased by like a fake mugger.
Yeah.
And it's like Batman's like in the shadows, like he's like, I think it's fake, but I'm here just in case.
Yeah, he's like in the alley. He's like, "Oh, she must have a lot of experience in heels."
Oh yeah.
And he's
Oh,
like,
oh wait, was that Batman who thought that?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Batman. Yeah,
It's
and
because
he's
like I thought it was Gordon.
no, because he says
But that makes
Gordon's wasting a lot of resources on me.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, and so Batman sees right through it, and Gordon's like, "We'll try again later." More time passes. Batman does a bunch of shit. He like steals Falcone's car, which is like, and throws in the river.
Yeah. And then he also strips him and puts him in the same position that Flash got put in.
Yeah, he like ties him up.
Yeah.
So like the first thing anyone sees is just like
His ass.
Yeah, his asshole just like spread eagle. He's just like fucking Batman.
And he's very like as angry as he is, he's pretty much like his first words is untie me. He's like, I want Batman dead. Like
Yeah.
It's like I guess is fair. But at the same point, it's just like when your henchman just came in, it's like you're like dick and balls out, and you're just like, I want Batman. Dude, fuck it. Don't worry about me. I want Batman dead.
Maybe this just happens a lot.
Yeah, you know.
They're used to it.
Yeah, you know, like, oh wait, who came over?
So, very minor character in the movie. I guess like a major character in the comics gets introduced, which is Harvey Dent. Because Commissioner Gordon goes to his office and he just starts like lifting weights.
Yeah.
And asking him a ton of questions. And Harvey Dent's like, "Yeah, did you see they like found Falcone's car in the river?" And Gordon's there because he thinks Harvey Dent as Batman.
Yeah.
But he has like a strong alibi, so Gordon can't really do much. So when Gordon leaves, Dent's like, "I thought he'd never leave."
He was like, you could come in now.
And Batman just kind of goes to like the window.
I didn't even think he was like outside the window at all. I thought he was just like behind the curtain because that's the way it looks.
Yeah.
So like his feet could have been shown or something. Like that'd been funny.
No, he's just like a high school sweetheart. He's like waiting for the dad to leave. And he's like, "Oh, thank God."
Are they gone?
Yeah.
But then we don't get to see like them talk or anything.
No, because it just goes into like Gordon's telling Essen how it's like, oh, he has a strong alibi. He's with his wife all night, and his wife's gonna like say that's true or whatever.
Yeah. And then I think that's when she brings up that it could be Bruce Wayne.
She does. Yeah. She's like, "Well, Bruce Wayne has a lot of money, and you're not from here, but his parents were killed by like thugs, so he has motive."
Yeah.
So he has the motive, he has the money, and Gordon's like, "Oh, I could kiss you right now."
Yeah. And then isn't there like another like doesn't like Batman like have like another scene where he like gets into a fight or whatever?
Yeah. So during that conversation, they're driving, and a van just like comes barreling down the street, and there's a guy knocked out at the wheel.
Oh yeah, the garbage truck or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
and like, why is he
I
knocked out?
I don't know.
Maybe he's just like working long hours.
He's just like asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, but then a pursuit happens where Gordon has to like jump from his car
Into
to that van, like Fast and the Furious, and try to take him out. But he doesn't. I don't think he gets there in time because it's coming down and it's speeding up and it's gonna hit some old woman with her cart.
And then that's when Batman swoops in.
Yeah, Batman swoops in, saves the lady. Van flips over and crashes. Gordon hits his head or something. And Essen has like a gun drawn at Batman.
Oh yeah.
And
like backup shows up, right? Because like don't they like chase him?
yeah. So yeah, because Essen, I think she like turns around and loses track of Batman. So Batman runs down the alley, and Gordon's gonna try shooting him, but his like vision's super hazy.
Yeah.
And that's when the backup shows up, and they start shooting down the alley, and Batman gets shot again.
This time in the leg, right?
In the leg, yeah. So what? This is like the second time he's been shot.
Yeah, definitely that we've seen at least.
So he gets shot, and he goes into this abandoned building, and this is when Brendan shows up.
But see, I think we're missing something. Cause isn't it like, don't they like interrogate Bruce Wayne and then that scene happens?
No.
Oh no, is that
this
after?
This
is
is before. Yeah. So he goes into the abandoned building. He's like walking up the steps. You can see all this blood trailing behind him. He's losing a ton of blood. And more backup shows up, and they're talking about over the radio how Brandon's on his way. And Gordon's like, no, but then you see the helicopter flying over.
Oh, okay, this is this scene.
Yeah,
okay.
this is this scene.
Okay.
And Gordon's like, oh shit. He's like, everyone back up. And then they just firebomb the building.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty nuts because like it's not like in a secluded area. It's in the middle of the city and this helicopter shows up. At first I'm like, okay, newscast. Mm-hmm. But then when he was like, everyone run, I was like, what's happening? And you just see a bomb get detached from like the helicopter. And not once, but like three times.
Like 3 times.
They just start bombarding the building with like this bomb. And I'm like, holy fuck.
Which I didn't know SWAT does this in real life.
Really?
Yeah, I was on like Reddit the other day, and I saw like firebombing is a thing.
Oh my god.
And that's what like people do.
In such a populated area, do you think they do that?
I have no idea.
Maybe they would clear the other buildings out, like just in case. But like in Gotham, it's like everyone's a casualty because like don't they kill like some bums?
Yeah, they kill a bunch of people, like the winos.
Yeah, so it's like they don't give a shit.
Yeah, so during all this chaos, there's fire everywhere, and Batman's utility belt catches on fire, or like something starts sparking.
Yeah.
So he like chucks the utility belt away. So now Batman's just like with like a blow dart. And
he has like 3 darts
like
and
a smoke
like
bomb or something.
Yeah.
So he's bleeding from the leg. Doesn't have a lot of utilities. So he goes into like stealth mode.
Yeah.
And Brandon shows up with the SWAT team, and Gordon's like, "Hey, he's like stop." He's like, commissioner, like the commissioner wants a body. So they go in and they're looking through the entire house, and Batman sees like a basement door or like electricity something.
Yeah, like he like gets them to go down there.
Yeah,
where like
he breaks the lock.
Yeah, where he's able to lock some of them down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is like Brandon.
Oh no! We get a call back to when he broke that tree down because then you break a pillar down.
That's later,
and it lands right on it.
Yeah, so he tricks the SWAT to go into the basement. Gets a lot of them in there. Like he's like, "Hey, like no one of your team has to get hurt. Like just leave me alone." Brandon's like, "Fuck that," and he tells everyone else to like go to the lobby.
It just started firing, open fire if you see him.
So Batman hides underneath the stairs.
Yeah.
And he's like in the shadows, and a cat runs out, and they just start shooting at him. And they're like, "Stop, like we're after a bat, not a cat." And while this is happening, Selina and Holly's her name.
Oh,
the other girl that Bruce pushed down. They're watching the news, and they see that Batman is cornering this building. So they're like, okay, let's go and like check this out. So someone ends up turning around, and they see Batman in the shadows, and they start firing at him.
Yeah, and like I feel like at that point he like takes like a hit or two.
He takes a hit because he saves the cat.
Oh yeah, because he throws the cat out the window and he gets like shot in the arm or something like that.
That's like, I guess.
And,
naturally the cat runs up to Selina in like the audience. That's like everyone's like watching all this shit go down. But as they're firing, bullets are going through the building and like
it's like going at people.
Yeah, and it hits a cop in the shoulder, and they're like, "Stop firing!" And Batman gets cornered behind a pillar, and then so like they're just firing and firing, and then this is what happens where he's like, "Oh, I know how to kick down trees," so he kicks down that pillar, and that causes like a bunch of like confusion to happen. So Batman manages to get away like slightly.
Yeah, is that also when he like blows his whistle that I've never seen before?
Oh, he has a like a sonic button, and he's like, it's in like they haven't tested it out yet, so they don't know if it works.
It's like to attract bats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his sonic tone. So when that happened, what did you think that was?
See, like, because like when he played it and it started like doing that pulsing thing or whatever, I was like, all right, I'm curious to see. I thought it was gonna like disorient everyone.
Yeah.
And then when it didn't, and it was like slowly cutting away, and it was like in a cave all of a sudden, I was like, oh, he's calling bats to come help him. Like, that's funny.
Yeah, right. I think in Batman Begins, something similar happens.
Okay.
Where like all like the bats like come and help him out. So he's cornered behind like something, and like all this shit's going on, and all of a sudden you just see the swarm of bats go over like the crowd, and they crash through the window
just like before, but this time it's more than one.
Yeah. And Batman does like the coolest pose. He like crouches and he puts his cape over his mouth.
Yeah, like that's where
the bats go.
And then like the swarm comes in, like disorients the SWAT team, and then all of a sudden he busts out with a motorcycle.
Yeah, he steals a cop motorcycle.
And he just like starts going, and then there's like a sniper in like another helicopter.
Yeah.
It's like kill the Batman, and then like right before he's gonna line up the shot, of course the bats are like just able to block, and he's not gonna get visual. Which I'm surprised of how trigger happy every SWAT member was. I'm surprised that sniper didn't just start taking shots at the bats.
Yeah, well, Commissioner Loeb's like in the helicopter. He's like, kill that fucking Batman.
Yeah, because like I thought he was gonna take at least a couple shots. I'm like, oh, Batman's gonna get shot again. But then bats swarmed that helicopter too.
Yeah, and they swarm the helicopter, and then there's two cruisers chasing Batman, and they like swarm those cars, and then they like disappear, and they just like drive off the pier and into the ocean.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Batman manages to get away, and then later on in the news, you hear how everyone in the crowd, including the SWAT team, has to get vaccines for all the bat bites.
Yeah, like all the bats. I thought that was funny because then it cuts to like Cillian and you said Holly are like just getting like shots in the ass, and then like I think like the quote was like people couldn't sit right for weeks.
Yeah. And this is like Gordon's monologue. He's like saying that he's like no one could sit right for weeks, and I guess none of the dead winos had family,
so it was just
no
like
one could like take Brandon or like the police department to court because no one cares. They're like bums. Who cares about them?
And so like, is it around this part is when Gordon starts seeing the other detective kind of like
it is. Yeah,
it's kind of sprinkled throughout like the end part, like mid end, I'd say, right?
Yeah, I think it's right after that because he gets a call. They're in the office, and apparently Bruce Wayne's been like skiing for 5 weeks, and he broke both his legs and
his arm, which would hide like the bullets or whatever.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, well, whatever, let's go home. And Essen's like, oh, do you want to share a cap?
Oh yeah, that's when.
And then Gordon's just like, all right.
Yeah. So then like that, like then like a little bit of their love like gets sprinkled through it, and like they're even making out in one scene, and he's like, "This is wrong."
Yeah.
But why do I keep doing it?
Because right after that, which I thought they were taking a cab, you see them at the diner.
Yeah.
And they're like soaked from the rain, and Gordon's saying how he was like he ratted out a cop or he took down a cop before, and then that's why he's in Gotham now.
Yeah.
And he's like giving like his backstory, and as Detective Essen puts her hand on his, and it's just like, oh, something's gonna go down.
I know, you definitely see like the love sparks.
Yeah, and they leave the diner, and then they're like, it starts raining even harder, so they hide like underneath like a door.
Yeah.
And then thunder happens, so she's like, ooh,
like hold me, Gordon.
Yeah, and then that's when they start like kissing.
Yeah.
And, like, then that's when like it gets sprinkled out throughout the rest of the movie that they're like making out in his office, and he has like the phone off the hook.
Yeah, so no one could bother. Yeah.
And during all of that, it shows Selena punching that guy.
Oh yeah, like, the pimp.
The pimp. And grabs Holly's hand, and she's like, "We're changing our line of work." So seeing Batman at like the hostage situation, or no, at the building, inspires her to like be like, I could dress up as like an animal and do shit.
I could dress up. Yeah, so then she starts becoming Catwoman. So we get like the introduction of like her little thing. So she robs like what? Like that Loeb guy, right?
Yeah, she robs Loeb's house.
And like before that, you see him playing with like toys and stuff like that. And he like definitely has like, maybe they're worth something. That's what she thinks. And then she's like realizing that they're just toys. Like that's all they are. She's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And then, geez. And then like, don't we have a cut after that to like kind of like speed up like the plot a bit more with like Gordon and everything like that?
Yeah. So during all of that, Gordon's like, I have to call this off. So they're back at that diner, Hopper's. And Essen's like, oh, all right. Like, I'll put in a transfer. So she's out.
Yeah, like it doesn't even like show, like it doesn't even like give us like what he said to her. It's just kind of like it cuts to like the end of the conversation where Gordon has his glasses off. He's like not even making eye contact, and she's like, I guess I'll go.
Yeah, because she's like, if your wife wasn't pregnant, like would you still be with her?
Yeah.
And he doesn't answer, and she's like, I'll put in my transfer.
Yeah.
Because I think it's funny because what causes Gordon to realize this is a mistake is in his thoughts he's calling her Sarah.
Yeah.
Instead of like
detective.
Essen.
Yeah.
So she's out of the picture again. All these women characters are only in here just to kind of progress the story, except for Catwoman, I guess.
Yeah.
She's still sexualized, but
yeah, hardcore.
But she's there for some purpose, you know.
Yeah.
And Gordon's like interviewing some guy. He's like questioning the guy who was like in that flashback with Flass at the docks.
Okay.
And he's like, tell me all you know about Flass. And then that lawyer comes in who looks like Velma.
Oh yeah, it's like my client's not talking. Like, yeah. He just posted bail.
Yeah. So like it cuts to him at his like apartment, counting all his money, and she's just like, "Oh, wear a blue suit and a tie."
And like when you smile, like make it genuine or whatever. Yeah. And then like Batman just like swoops in after she leaves.
Yeah, and like beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. And then like honestly, I was kind of like confused at that part. I was like, what is this for? Because like I totally like didn't like realize that was the same guy as before.
Yeah, it's the same guy. And Batman says something along the lines of like, I know pain, and sometimes I like to share it. And the guy like I guess he gets super freaked out because he ends up saying, okay, I'm in, I'll confess.
Yeah.
Or, like I'll rat him out.
And then that's when like Gordon goes to Loeb and he's just like, he's still talking or whatever. And then like that's when he's like, but I have blackmail. Like you fell on my trap card, and it's a picture of like him and the girl like making out. And then that's when like Gordon like has a realization. It's like it's either I stop doing what I want to do, or I just go and tell my wife, so it's not a surprise anymore. Yeah. And then I continue doing it, which is like honestly such a badass move that he's like, all right, I made a mistake, but I still gotta fucking take this cop down. So, sorry, Barbara.
Yeah. So he goes to the ultrasound with Barbara. It's like either an ultrasound or they're at the doctor's or something. So he's with her. And on the way out, Barbara's like talking to him. He's like, you seem a little off, like something wrong. But then they get a call that Bruce Wayne's available to do like an interview.
Yeah, like that moment.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, I'm on the way. And he's like, sorry, Barbara. She's like, oh, it's all right. I've always wanted to meet Bruce Wayne. I've heard he's very charming.
Yeah.
Cut to them arriving. And there's just like this like hot chick on the couch. And Bruce Wayne like walks up with like his cane.
Yeah. And he's like piss hammered.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Do you guys want a drink?" And then he sits there and goes, "I already even introduced my friend here. She doesn't speak English or whatever."
Yeah, because he's like, Alfred. I was like, give my guests like a glass. Oh, and another bottle. This one's evaporated.
Yeah.
And while he's talking to Gordon, this girl just starts licking his face.
I noticed that. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, and so Batman, like Bruce Wayne has one of like the funniest lines because he's like, I neglected to introduce my friend. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what her name is. She doesn't speak any language that I know.
Yeah, except one.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh Jesus. And then and you could tell like Barbara's like, pig.
Yeah. So after that, they don't get any information out of him. So they leave. And Barbara's in the car with Gordon as they're driving away, and she's talking about how much Bruce Wayne is like a pig.
A scumbag
and
stuff.
And that triggers Gordon.
And
he stops the car.
And then that's when like Bruce Wayne's looking out his window and just goes, oh no.
Yeah, he's like, the jig is up.
And then that girl's like, this was so weird. Like, we didn't even have like sex, and it was all grape juice or whatever.
Yeah, she's like, small talking grape juice. You guys are weird. And he's like, Bruce Wayne's like, easiest $5,000 you've ever made.
And she's like, I'm out of here. Like, as if she wanted. Like, she's just like, no, I wanted to have sex.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if, could add to a bucket list, you fuck a millionaire or whatever.
Yeah, which is weird, right? Because I would have thought, like, why bring in random women into this? Like, what if she's just like, oh yeah, I lied.
Yeah.
Like, and she goes to the cops because she's like, I'm gonna blackmail Bruce Wayne now.
Yeah. I guess, like, why would they believe her?
Yeah.
Because it is just, like, a random person.
It's just so weird, right? So, I guess the guy is still testifying. What's his name? Oh, Skeevers.
Skeever?
I think that's his name, Skeevers.
Okay.
So he's still gonna testify. So the commissioner calls like their house, and Barbara picks up the phone and she's like, "Oh, I know all about Detective Essen. Don't come call here anymore." And she hangs up, and she just looks so like depressed.
And like, yeah, definitely defeated at that point.
Yeah, and like Gordon's just in the background, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then, so their kid gets born after that, like around then, right? Or because it's the trial. So
before that, Skeevers gets poisoned.
Yeah, rat poison.
Which, okay, so I don't know what a skeever is other than Skyrim. They're the big rats.
Yeah.
So I was like, is that like a thing? Are skeevers rats?
Oh, I don't know.
Because if so, that's funny because he got rat poisoned.
Yeah, the rat got rat poisoned. It is funny that he got rat poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
Skeever could be a rat or like a term for a rat, and then the thing he's needed for is to rat somebody out. So his whole entire character is just this one word, rat.
It's just like an inception of a rat.
Oh my god.
So after that, we see Batman with his glider going to Falcone's house.
Oh yeah. And he's gonna get some like intel on them.
He's gonna get intel, but at the same time, Catwoman is pissed because she robbed Loeb, didn't get anything, so she's like, I'm gonna rob Falcone's house and get like all the money there. So while Batman is like eavesdropping on like Carmine Falcone, Catwoman shows up and starts fucking shit up. So Batman beats up a bunch of people. He throws like batterings.
Yeah,
like, knocks everyone out.
And they have like something in them that just like makes them fall asleep like instantly.
Yeah, Batman's like, Thanks for fucking this up.
Thanks for wasting my time.
Yeah.
And then like you just see his wings like go out of frame, and she's like, oh, Batman. And then just cut immediately.
But before that, she's like, I gotta leave my mark. So she scratches Falcone's face.
Yeah. Because then that's when like we get like a little bit on the news of like what happened or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, don't they like catch a glimpse of her or whatever?
Yeah, the news is reporting that Batman was there and Catwoman was there, and they call Catwoman Batman's assistant.
Yeah,
and she loses her shit over that.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm her assistant.
Yeah, because like, isn't it like before that they just think she was Batman at one point, or like?
I don't think they didn't know who she was really.
Yeah,
so like she wants to get more like. Noticed.
Yeah, she wants to get out there.
Yeah, so that happens. Batman's at home reading newspaper, and he's trying to figure out like, okay, Falcone's not like involved with like this or this. What is he involved in? He's like kidnapping. So it's like leaving. And I love Alfred, but Alfred gets screwed over in this movie because he's hardly in it.
Oh yeah, he's only in it for like 3 scenes.
Yeah, but he has like a quip here because Batman's leaving and Alfred's just like drinking his tea and reading newspaper. He's like, "Shall I fetch your tights, sir?"
And it goes, "Not in the daytime, Alfred." He's like, "Fine."
Never during the day. So he goes out, cut back to Falcone in the hospital, and he's talking to his son. Never got the son's name. I don't know if they mention it. He's like that big dude.
Yeah.
And
then that's when they like do like the bro handshake, and he's like, "Kill Batman."
Oh, he's like, "What do you want us to do?" And he just says, "Once a man becomes a father, he's never truly free."
Oh yeah, because this is like they're getting to the trial part.
Yeah, this is like the ending now.
Yeah, okay.
So Batman, so we see Gordon at the house waking up because the baby's crying. He gets a phone call saying, "Hey, you gotta come." And he's like, "Well, this other guy's there." He's like, "No, you gotta come." So he leaves. We see Loeb talking to Brandon. He's like, Gordon's leaving his apartment now.
Yeah.
And
then when he leaves, he sees another car pass him.
A motorcycle.
And then it goes into the parking garage. And he's like, "Fuck." And he just like pulls a complete U-turn.
Yeah.
And then like immediately they have his son and Barbara. Like, and they're like, "Get back, Gordon."
Yeah, he's like, "Wait in your office. We'll call you." And he's just like thinking to himself. He's like, fuck. It's like, if I let them go, they're dead. So he just starts blasting.
Yeah, and I was very surprised by that. So yeah, he starts shooting at them, and they just take the son, and then they drive off.
Yeah.
And then Barbara's behind. And then
do you know what happens?
And then what, isn't it they flee, and then Gordon's like, "All right, I gotta chase them." And then the motorcycle comes back, and he just fucking one taps the motorcycle dude. And I was like, damn, that was quick. And then he's like, "Barbara, I'll be back," and then he leaves. And then and then you find out that the guy on the motorcycle was Bruce Wayne. He just takes another fucking shot.
So this is like the 4th or 5th time he's been shot.
I'm not sure if Batman like literally got shot.
No, he got shot.
Like if it pierced him.
Yeah, because he's bleeding.
Oh, he's bleeding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because they do make like a thing about armor later.
Yeah. So Barbara has him at gunpoint, and he's like, "I'm not going to let your son die."
Yeah.
And he's like in the shadows. He has shadows all over his face. And how could Barbara not know that's Bruce Wayne?
Yeah. Because like she just saw him like the other day.
Yeah, and he's like 2 feet away from her. Yeah. But he's like, he's not even covering his face. He's just like lowering his face.
Yeah, it's like, "Barbara, I'm not going to let your son die."
And later on, Gordon can't tell that's Bruce Wayne too, but it's because he's blind.
Yeah. So like that one makes a little bit more sense.
She has no excuse. So the car takes off. Gordon's chasing after him. Batman takes off. And he's just like climbing buildings and going over the rooftop. And he manages to catch up to them somehow.
Yeah. So like they're like, I don't know. Like he rides a van for a little while, and then he just starts like chasing them and jumping. And then when they get to the bridge, like the final part of that happens, he like scales the bridge like up on the side to get the very top of it.
It's like Mario Kart Double Dash. He's going up the bridge for no reason.
He's like, "I know a shortcut."
So Gordon's also shooting at this car with his baby in the car.
Yeah. And then when they finally like crash and they like have their confrontation, this is probably like my favorite fight scene of the whole movie, because it's just this big dude with a crying baby in one arm, and like, does he have a knife in the other? Yeah. He has a knife in the other, and he's just going at Gordon, and Gordon's like dodging, and like, I don't know if he's fighting back really, because he does have like his kid in his arms, but it's such a funny thing because you see this gigantic dude just with his little tiny baby constantly crying, and he's able to focus on killing this guy, and it's just, I don't know, I thought that was just so funny.
Yeah, and then so they're throwing punches. Gordon's backed up against the edge of the bridge, about to get stabbed. Baby slips out.
Yeah.
Starts falling. And Gordon's like, "No!" So, like, Gordon and that guy fall off the bridge, too. And then you see Bruce Wayne
coming down to grab the baby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're all dead. Like, that's like, I was like, how are they going to live this one?
Yeah. For some reason, he could fall faster than everyone else.
Yeah.
Catches the baby. We don't see how they land.
Yeah.
But he manages to, like, land in a certain way where the baby's safe.
Yeah.
And then Gordon's also safe. He's like standing up, but the other guy's knocked out.
Yeah, because like Gordon gets up and he's like, I really can't see without my glasses.
Yeah.
And then like Bruce Wayne's like, yes.
Yeah, he's like,
thank God.
Yeah. After that, we see like everything happening, right? So no one gets blackmailed. So Flash is in court, and he rats out Loeb.
Yeah.
He was like telling everything about like Loeb was behind all this other stuff, and then Loeb also has to take someone else down. So he takes down Brandon.
The SWAT guy.
Scapegoat. So we see Brandon in jail.
Yeah, and then you see like all the news reporter like flocking over to Loeb. So like they're all fucked.
Yeah, and then so like Gordon gets promoted. He's no longer lieutenant. He's captain now.
Yeah.
And we see him at the top of the building, and he's having like this monologue about how
because like some more time has passed.
Yeah, more time passes, and there's like this maniac trying to poison the water reserves.
Yeah,
but he has a friend on the way, and then credits.
Yeah,
that's the end of the movie.
So like it's definitely it like set up their whole for like relationship.
Yeah.
So like after that, I was like, oh, so Gordon like might know who Batman is. Like that's my thought, but I know he just doesn't.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it would have been funny if, like, while Bruce was holding on to his son, if, like, when he made the comment, like, I can't see without my glasses, if, like, Bruce had them behind his, like, back, he's like, I know.
So that's the end of the movie. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into a couple of categories real fast. All right, and we're back. So, just like I wanted to ask you a couple questions, right? Did you have a favorite scene from this movie?
I'd say I definitely liked. I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick like a favorite scene, I guess, because like there were like a lot of like little parts I liked from everything. I'd say where Batman is, well, Bruce Wayne's pretending to be like. Yeah, this like sleazy like scumbag. Like that was just fun to watch. So I think I'd pick that one maybe. If I'd pick more of like a fight scene, I'd definitely pick the one where he's fighting Catwoman. Well, Selene.
Okay.
Yeah, because like that was where like it just felt very funny because it was his first time like out in the streets fighting, and he gets stabbed.
Cool. Yeah, I would say that was a really good scene. That was my contender for my favorite scene up until the bats showed up, and I was like, that's just cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I that was more funny to me than anything.
I could see that. How about a quote? I feel like I know what your favorite quote is.
Like who wants gum is just like it peak. It's so funny. Like the movie could not have gotten any better than that.
Who wants gum?
Who wants gum? He just saved a bunch of kids, maybe even orphans.
Yeah.
In the first line, who wants gum?
All right, and lastly, what was like your favorite character?
That's tough because I almost like didn't really like. It's not that I didn't care for any of them. None of them really stood out because like a movie that has the name Batman wasn't a lot of Batman, mainly Gordon's movie, but like damn, is Gordon kind of cliche. You know, like here he's like a cop. He doesn't really like his job, like blah, blah, blah. And then he has like the affair. So I'm like, all right, down on that. So I don't know. I guess Selene.
Okay.
But that's like also a stretch because she wasn't there that long in the movie either.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's hard.
I guess like I'm always a fan of like villains because like they're what really make a lot of movies great and stuff. So like Flask. Not really like my favorite character, but definitely like made them like, you know, really set up the tone and stuff. So I feel like that was pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. I would say, yeah, maybe just because we saw more of Gordon, but I really did enjoy Gordon a lot. So here are like some of the cast for the movie. So Commissioner Gordon, Bryan Cranston. Yeah. I don't know if you recognized that when you were watching the movie.
No, not till like the credits rolled. I was like, oh, that is someone I knew. Because like the voice sounded familiar, but I didn't pick up on it.
Here's something I just learned. So Bruce Wayne, he's played by Ben McKenzie. I don't know if you know him, but he plays Gordon on Gotham, like the Fox show.
Oh, okay. That's
So
interesting.
I thought that was kind of cool because when I was first watching it, I was like, man, I don't know how I feel about this voice.
Yeah, no, yeah. I feel like the Batman voice is always tough because it's like when he's just Bruce Wayne, he just talk like a normal person. But when he's Batman, he has to kind of have like that deep growl to him, you know?
Yeah.
They'll kind of like mask his voice. And I feel like that's super tough to get like mainly live action. Because like if animated, like you could do like some kind of like nice little spoofing with some audio. But like, yeah, I definitely, it didn't take me out of it though. Like it could have been worse.
Okay. So I have some trivia for you, some
Ooh.
Bat trivia.
Okay.
You ready for this? So, Batman Year One was almost adapted as a live action movie.
Ooh.
And it was going to be directed by Darren Aronofsky.
Last names are hard.
Yeah. And it was going to be a screenplay from Frank Miller. He originally wrote the movie. But Warner Bros. Scrapped the project in favor of Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins.
Ooh, okay.
So that would have been really different, like a live action. It would have been a lot darker.
Yeah, and also would have been like way less Batman for a Batman movie.
Yeah, and then Bryan Cranston originally turned down the part of Jim Gordon because he thought the project was based on Batman 1966, like the Adam West one.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
So, and then after he read the script, he's like, "Oh, okay, I could be that."
Yeah. Okay, I'll do this now.
Yeah, and then another fun fact for you is like I already mentioned Ben McKenzie, he's the only actor who has been Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Jim Gordon.
Okay.
And then someone pointed this out to us when we were watching the movie, but Hopper's Diner, that like the scene that we see, that's named for its resemblance to the diner in Nighthawks, a painting by Edward Hopper.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I thought it looked a little familiar, but it wasn't until they pointed that out that I was like, oh, fuck, you're right.
Yeah, no, it did not even like catch my attention until like I actually had to go and like Google like the painting. I was like cafe painting. And I was like, oh shit.
And then the last one is, so you know the cover in that building that says electricity, like danger or something like that, or danger electricity? It's in like 2 frames of the movie, but it's misspelled both times.
Oh my God. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, they forgot an I in it.
That's funny.
All right. So, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Or any questions for me?
Not that I can really think of. I guess it all really boils down to like, you know, is it a good movie?
The question, right?
It is.
All right. So,
Do you want me to go first?
you go first. Yeah.
Okay, I know this is your collection, but all right. So I think it's a good movie, not a great movie, because I liked it, you know. But ultimately, I did go in expecting, I keep saying it, more Batman. Now, if I read the comic, I would already kind of know what to expect. So I think it is a little, so like someone who's not a big comic book fan, it is a little bit like, I was kind of like, oh, man, like I do like Batman. I think he's pretty cool. So like the fact that I didn't get to see him that much, I was a little disappointed. And so yeah, I'd say it's a good movie, but I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
That's fair. So do you think it should stay in the collection?
So if I was making my own collection, I wouldn't add it.
But it's already in there.
But since it's already in there, then I'd say keep it.
All right. You know, I think I have to agree with you. I like the movie, but I'm a huge Batman fan.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite. I thought it was really like one of my top Batman movies until I rewatched it like the 3rd time. I was like, okay, it's a little short. The story isn't anything new.
Yeah.
But the animation's really well done. So I have to give it that. So yeah, I'll give it. I liked it.
Yeah.
If I didn't already have it on Blu-ray, and it was only on DVD, probably wouldn't upgrade it.
Okay.
But I think it's worthy for a spot in the collection.
Yeah. I'd say definitely if you're a fan of Batman, then it's like a cool one to have.
So do you know if the general population agreed with us or not. What was like the general like feeling for this movie?
So if I could just, so it got a 7.4 on IMDb and 88 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Which I'd put it around like maybe the 75%. That's what I'd probably put it as. The budget was 3.5 million and it grossed around 6.1, which I thought was like nuts for an animated movie.
So it like almost doubled itself.
Yeah, so it got like 2.6 million earned.
Oh shit.
Because the 6.1 was domestic home sales. So like people buying like physical copies and stuff like that. Because I don't know if this ever came out in like theaters.
I don't think so.
It probably was like a premiere on like something or whatever. But yeah, for an animated movie, it definitely made more money than I thought it could. Because I just don't watch animated movies like with the comic books, like heroes and stuff. So I was like, damn, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, all right. Well, it seems like we have pretty like I would say like our opinion on the movie is the same as like most people.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say majority agrees with us.
Yeah. Well, this was like a really fun episode. Like a really good, fun episode. Next week we're watching 500 Days of Summer.
Yes.
I've never seen this movie before.
And I have.
So this is going to be kind of interesting. Like you've never seen Batman Year One. I've never seen 500 Days of Summer. I wonder how consistent this is going to be, like the flopping back and forth.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if almost like it would stay like in like a you've seen it, I didn't, and then reverse of that, and then like we got one where it's like we both haven't seen it, and then maybe like one where we both have seen it. Like I'm excited to see like how it changes throughout that.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun. If you like what you heard, maybe tell your friends about us. But we'll see you next week.
We will.
All right. Bye.